All right, let's talk about the Adeptus Custodes, the Emperor's bodyguards.
Okay.
Those elite warriors tasked with protecting the Emperor of Mankind himself.
Right.
Um, they're a fascinating bunch, even more so than Space Marines,
Yeah.
because they operate on a whole other level.
That's right. You could say that the Custodes are to Space Marines what the Emperor is to his Primarchs.
Wow.
That's how much more powerful they are. The popular theory is that the Emperor himself engineered them to be the ultimate fighting force, genetically crafting each one for absolute loyalty and combat prowess, making them arguably the deadliest warriors in the whole galaxy.
I think it would be interesting to start by understanding where they came from, how they came to be.
Okay.
Their history stretches back to the very foundations of the Imperium, doesn't it? Weren't they around before the Space Marines?
Yes, they were. The Adeptus Custodes existed even before the Space Marines, fighting alongside the Emperor during the Unification Wars on Terra. Picture this. Massive warriors clad in shimmering gold and crimson, towering over normal humans, fighting with incredible skill and brutality. And when the Thunder Warriors, the Emperor's first attempt at creating super soldiers, rebelled against him, the Custodes were instrumental in putting down that rebellion. It was a brutal, bloody affair. Brother against brother.
It's hard to imagine the Imperium without the Space Marines, but to think that the Custodes were there even before them is pretty mind-blowing. So you're saying there were Custodes before the Space Marines, but were there ever as many Custodes as there were Space Marines?
No, there were never that many. Their numbers have always remained constant around 10,000. That's how they earned the nickname the 10,000. Their limited numbers emphasize their elite status. Each custodian represents a warrior without equal, meticulously selected and trained to embody the pinnacle of human potential.
I came across a description of the Battle of Gyros Thravian during the Great Crusade, where 1,000 Custodes charged into battle alongside the Emperor himself against the Orc warlord Garkul Blackfang and his horde. Can you imagine witnessing that spectacle?
Oh, yeah.
1,000 of these genetically engineered super warriors,
Uh-huh.
their golden armor gleaming in the sunlight, marching in perfect unison with the Emperor at their forefront.
Right.
Talk about a sight that would make even the most battle-hardened Orc war boss think twice.
Absolutely. They were a force of nature, their discipline and skill unmatched.
Yeah.
That battle cemented their reputation as the deadliest warriors in the galaxy. Their presence alone was enough to inspire terror and awe, making them an invaluable asset to the Emperor's burgeoning Imperium. It's important to remember that becoming a Custodes is an incredibly arduous journey, one that begins in childhood.
Right.
They are taken from their families at a young age, subjected to brutal training regimes that push them to the very limits of human endurance.
It sounds incredibly harsh. I'm curious to know what sort of training creates warriors like that.
Their training is both physical and mental, honing their bodies and minds into perfect weapons.
Wow.
They become experts in every form of combat, comfortable with stealth and assassination just as they are with open warfare. And this is where it gets really interesting. Their genetic makeup allows them to withstand even psychic attacks, a testament to their unique lineage. They share the Emperor's blood, you see, a secret whispered in hushed tones within the Imperial Palace. This makes them more than just super soldiers. They are practically demigods, possessing strength, speed, and resilience that far surpass even the Astartes.
The Emperor's blood.
Yeah.
That raises so many questions. It's no wonder they are considered the Emperor's most trusted guardians, practically extensions of his will. But there's something that has always puzzled me. If the Custodes are so powerful, so utterly devoted to the Emperor, how did Horus, his favorite son, manage to reach him during the Horus Heresy? Should they have stopped him?
That, my friend, is the great shame of the Adeptus Custodes. For 10,000 years, they have borne the weight of their failure, their inability to protect their master from Horus's betrayal. It's why they wore black cloaks for millennia, a stark symbol of their shame and a constant reminder of their failure to fulfill their sacred duty.
It must have been a heavy burden to carry for so long, the knowledge that they failed their Emperor at the most crucial moment. It's a good thing they have shed their mourning, isn't it?
Yeah.
With the return of Robut Galiman and the dawn of the era Indomitus, the Adeptus Custodes have taken to the stars once more, eager to redeem themselves in the eyes of the Emperor, and perhaps in their own eyes as well.
Precisely. They've cast off the shackles of their past and are now taking a much more active role in galactic affairs, no longer content to simply remain as the Emperor's silent guardians. They're on the offensive now, carrying the Emperor's wrath to his enemies with a renewed sense of purpose and a burning desire to prove themselves worthy once more. They are a force to be reckoned with, driven by millennia of pent-up guilt and a fierce determination to reclaim their honor.
That's incredible. A more proactive Adeptus Custodes. It sounds like the galaxy just got a whole lot more dangerous, especially for those who oppose the Emperor. But how are they organized now?
Right.
You can't just be a monolithic force, can they? They must have some kind of internal structure, different groups with specific roles and purposes, right?
You are absolutely correct. The Adeptus Custodes are organized into specialized groups, each with its unique weapons, tactics, and areas of expertise.
Okay.
This allows them to respond to a variety of threats with the utmost efficiency and lethality. For instance, there are the Companions, 300 warriors who never leave the Emperor's side. They are his constant shield, his last line of defense, and each one is a master of close quarters, combat their loyalty as unyielding as their armor.
300 warriors dedicated solely to the Emperor's physical protection. That's an impressive display of commitment and speaks volumes about the threats he faces, even within his own palace.
Yeah.
But what about the wider Imperium? Surely they don't just sit around protecting the Emperor all day, do they? You mentioned specialized groups. What other kinds of roles do they fulfill?
You're right. Their duties extend beyond the Imperial Palace. There's the Aquilon Shield, for example.
Okay.
They act as bodyguards for important figures throughout the Imperium. Individuals whose safety is deemed vital to the Imperium's survival. Imagine a planetary governor or an Inquisitor Lord walking around with a squad of golden demigods as their personal protectors. It's a testament to how highly the Imperium values these individuals and the lengths it will go to ensure their safety.
That's wild.
Right.
Golden-clad demigod bodyguards. It sounds like something out of a legend. It makes you wonder what kind of threats these individuals face that require such extreme measures. What other specialized units do they have?
And then there is the Dread Host, perhaps the most fearsome of them all. Unlike the Companions and the Aquilon Shield, who are primarily defensive in nature, the Dread Host are the Emperor's hammer, his instrument of righteous fury.
Right.
They go on the offensive, delivering swift and brutal justice to the Emperor's enemies, their actions cloaked in secrecy and whispered in hushed tones throughout the galaxy. They are a silent storm appearing out of nowhere to crush rebellions, purge Xenos infestations, or eliminate key enemy leaders, leaving only whispers and legends in their wake.
That's pretty chilling. I can only imagine the kind of fear they inspire in the hearts of the Emperor's enemies. What kind of gear do these Custodes use? I mean, they must have access to the best the Imperium has to offer, right? It only makes sense considering their role and status.
Sure.
What kind of armor and weapons allow them to carry out their duties so effectively?
You are absolutely correct. Every custodian is equipped with the best gear the Imperium has to offer. Each piece meticulously crafted and designed to enhance their already formidable abilities. Their Oromite armor, for instance, is nearly indestructible, far superior to even the power armor worn by Space Marines. And their weapons. Master-crafted, many of them dating back to the Great Crusade, forged in the fires of Terra itself. Each weapon is a work of art, a tool of unparalleled destruction, capable of cleaving through flesh and steel with equal ease.
They sound almost unstoppable, clad in nearly indestructible armor and wielding weapons of incredible power.
Pretty much.
It's almost like they're walking legends embodying the might of the Imperium in its purest form. But do they have any super special weapons? Something almost mythical weapons reserved only for them?
They do. They even have access to relic weapons from the dark age of technology. Weapons too powerful for anyone else to wield. Artifacts of a bygone era when humanity stood at the pinnacle of technological achievement. Imagine weapons capable of harnessing energies that could shatter planets wielded by warriors who are themselves the pinnacle of human evolution. That is the kind of firepower the Adeptus Custodes bring to the battlefield, a testament to their unique status and the trust the Emperor places in them. It's true those relic weapons are a testament to their ancient lineage and the trust the Emperor places in them. Their existence reminds us that the Adeptus Custodes are more than just warriors. They are living relics themselves, their origins stretching back to the very dawn of the Imperium, their existence interwoven with the Emperor's own rise to power.
It's fascinating to think that they predate even the Space Marines, those iconic symbols of the Imperium's might. We've talked about their training, their armor, their weapons, but their origins remain shrouded in mystery, don't they? Even the most learned scholars and inquisitors seem to possess only fragments of information about the Custodes' early days, the events that shaped them into the warriors they are today.
Yes, their beginnings are lost to the mists of time, But there are theories, of course. Some believe they were crafted from the same gene stock as the Emperor himself, imbued with his essence from the very moment of their creation, explaining their superhuman abilities and their unwavering loyalty to him.
It's a compelling theory, one that fits with the image of the Emperor as a master geneticist, the architect of the Space Marines, and countless other transhuman creations. But as you said, their origins may forever remain a mystery, adding to their mystique and allure. We've talked about their brutal training, how they're pushed to their absolute limits to become the ultimate warriors, but can you give us some specific examples? What kind of trials do they endure? What kind of crucible forges them into the Emperor's most trusted guardians?
One ritual that stands out is known as the Blood Games.
Okay.
It's an intense test of both their skills and their loyalty, pushing them to the very edge of their physical and mental limits.
Right.
Imagine this young custodes in training are tasked with infiltrating the imperial palace itself, bypassing its formidable defenses and reaching the emperor's throne room.
Wait, they have to break into the Imperial Palace.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredibly dangerous? The Imperial Palace is supposed to be the most fortified location in the entire Imperium, bristling with weapons, guarded by countless soldiers and servitors, riddled with traps and kill zones.
Exactly. That is the point. The palace is designed to be an unbreachable fortress, a symbol of the Imperium's might. And yet these young custodes in training must find a way to penetrate its defenses using their cunning, their skills, their strength, and their understanding of the palace's architecture to overcome every obstacle in their path. It's like a giant, deadly game of hide-and-seek where failure means death.
I can see how that would push them to their absolute limits, forcing them to rely on their training and instincts, their ability to think on their feet and adapt to unexpected situations. But what happens if they succeed? Do they get a prize? Some kind of recognition for their accomplishment?
The greatest prize of all is the knowledge that they are worthy of protecting the Emperor. They prove their loyalty, their skill, their cunning, their resilience, all the qualities that make them the Emperor's finest.
And what about those who fail? What happens to those who don't make it to the Emperor's throne room?
Failure is simply not an option for a custodes. They are expected to succeed no matter the cost, to push themselves beyond their perceived limits, to embody the Emperor's unwavering will.
It's a lot of pressure to put on someone, especially someone so young. It's no wonder they develop such an unwavering sense of duty and loyalty to the Emperor. It's ingrained in them from the very beginning of their training. You mentioned specialized formations within the Adeptus Custodes. I'd like to learn more about that. Each formation must have its own unique purpose and role to play in defending the Emperor and the Imperium.
Absolutely. Their organization reflects their multifaceted role within the Imperium. It ensures that they can respond to a wide array of threats, from protecting high-value targets to spearheading devastating offensive campaigns. Let's start with the companions.
Okay.
Those 300 warriors who never leave the Emperor's side, his most elite bodyguard, chosen for their unwavering loyalty, their stoicism, and their unparalleled skill in combat.
They must be like living statues, those companions standing guard for hours on end, always vigilant, never wavering in their duty. I imagine serving in the companions is incredibly demanding, both physically and mentally.
Their duty is grueling, a constant test of their endurance and dedication, but they consider it the highest honor, the ultimate privilege. To stand in the Emperor's presence, to be his shield against any threat, to dedicate their lives to his protection.
It's almost like a religious experience for them, isn't it? They are the Emperor's most devout followers, his guardians in the truest sense of the word, willing to lay down their lives without hesitation for their God Emperor.
It's a level of devotion that's hard to comprehend, a testament to the Emperor's charisma and the power he wields over those who serve him. Now, speaking of protection, you mentioned the Aquilon shield earlier. Those custodes tasked with protecting important figures throughout the Imperium. They operate on a different scale than the companions, safeguarding those deemed vital to the Imperium's survival, individuals whose loss would cripple the Emperor's domain.
So they might be assigned to protect a High Lord of Terra, an Inquisitor Lord, or even a Space Marine Chapter Master. It's fascinating to think that individuals in such positions of power, individuals who wield immense authority and influence, would require the protection of these golden demigods. It speaks volumes about the dangers they face and the lengths to which the Imperium must go to ensure their safety.
You're right. The presence of an Aquilon shield detail is a testament to an individual's importance to the Imperium. Their selection is no simple matter either. It's the Doom Scryers and the Captain General of the Custodes who decide who deserves this level of protection, meticulously analyzing an individual's role, their influence, and the potential threats they face before dispatching an Aquilon shield to their side.
That makes sense. It wouldn't do to waste the Custodes' talents on those who aren't truly vital to the Imperium's survival. But what makes the Aquilon feel different from the companions? They're both bodyguards, aren't they? Both tasked with protecting individuals from harm.
The key difference lies in their scope. The companions protect the Emperor himself, a static, unwavering presence within the Imperial Palace. The Aquilon Shield, on the other hand, are a mobile force traveling throughout the Imperium to protect their charges, adapting to different environments and threat profiles.
So they're like a Secret Service detail for the Imperium's most important figures operating in the shadows, their presence often unknown to those they protect. They are a silent, invisible shield, always vigilant, always ready to intercept any threat to their charge.
Exactly. Their methods are as varied as the threats they face, from blending into crowds to employing advanced technology and weaponry to neutralize potential assassins or saboteurs. They are masters of disguise and deception, able to move unnoticed through the most heavily guarded locations, always one step ahead of their enemies. And then we have the Dread Host, those who bring the Emperor's fury to his enemies.
Yes. The Dread Host, the Emperor's Hammer. They are the ones who are taking the fight to the enemy, aren't they? After 10,000 years of relative inactivity guarding the Emperor within his palace, they have emerged from the shadows, eager to prove their worth and wash away the stain of their past failure.
Precisely. The Dread Host represents a significant shift in the Adeptus Custodes' role within the Imperium. They are no longer content to simply stand guard. They are actively seeking out the enemies of the Emperor and destroying them, carrying out missions that would make even the most hardened Space Marines blanch.
What kind of missions do they undertake? What makes them different from the Space Marines, who are already considered some of the deadliest warriors in the galaxy?
Their missions are shrouded in secrecy, whispered in hushed tones within the halls of the Imperial Palace. They might be sent to crush a rebellion on a distant world, purge a Xenos infestation that threatens to engulf an entire sector, or even assassinate a key enemy leader whose death could cripple an entire war effort. They are a scalpel, a precise instrument of the Emperor's will deployed against targets that require surgical precision and overwhelming force.
They sound terrifying, a force of nature unleashed upon the Emperor's enemies. We've talked about the Custodes' Oromite armor and their master-crafted weapons, but I'd like to delve into that a bit further. What makes their gear so special? What sets them apart from the equipment used by other Imperial forces, even the Space Marines, who are known for their advanced technology and weaponry?
Oromite is an incredibly rare and durable material found only on Terra. It's said to be infused with the Emperor's own psychic energy, which explains its incredible resistance to damage. Even the most powerful weapons have trouble piercing it, making the Custodes nearly invincible on the battlefield. And their weapons are equally impressive. Each one is a masterpiece of craftsmanship, forged from the finest materials and imbued with advanced technology that dates back to the dark age of technology, a time when humanity's technological prowess was unmatched.
It's no wonder they are considered the Emperor's finest, equipped with the best the Imperium has to offer, protected by armor that's nearly indestructible, wielding weapons that can cleave through tanks and demons with equal ease. But we've talked about their gear in general terms. What about specific weapons? What kind of armaments do they favor? What tools of war allow them to dominate the battlefield and fulfill their duty to the Emperor?
One of their signature weapons is the Guardian Spear, a weapon that perfectly embodies their role as both protectors and warriors. It's taller than a man, incredibly versatile, and equally adept at thrusting and slashing attacks. And here's the kicker. It has a built-in bolter for ranged combat, making it a truly formidable weapon on the battlefield.
So they have a weapon that's essentially a combination spear and rifle, a weapon that allows them to engage enemies at both close and long range with deadly efficiency. That's incredible. It speaks to their adaptable nature, their ability to switch between different combat styles seamlessly. What other weapons do they use? Do they favor any other specific types of weaponry?
They are masters of all forms of combat, equally skilled with swords, axes, and even pistols. Each weapon is crafted to the highest standards, imbued with advanced technology, and designed to complement their unique fighting style.
And let's not forget their relic weapons, those artifacts from the dark age of technology that are too powerful for anyone else to wield. Those weapons must be something to behold, a testament to a bygone era when humanity stood at the pinnacle of technological advancement.
Ah, yes, the relics. They are more than just weapons. They are symbols of a lost age of humanity's potential, entrusted to the Adeptus Custodes, the Emperor's most trusted guardians, to wield against those who threaten his dominion. Imagine blades that can cut through any pistols that fire bolts of pure energy and shields that can deflect the most powerful attacks.
They sound like something out of a myth, weapons that would make even a Primarch envious. It's no wonder that the Custodes are so feared and respected throughout the galaxy.
Indeed. Those relic weapons are a testament to the technological prowess of the Imperium at its height, and they are a powerful reminder that the Adeptus Custodes are more than just warriors. They are guardians of history, keepers of secrets, entrusted with safeguarding not just the Emperor, but the legacy of humanity itself.
We've talked about the Custodes in general terms, exploring their origins, their training, their weapons, and their organization. But I think it's time we delve into the individuals who make up this legendary force. Their history must be filled with tales of incredible heroism and sacrifice stories that have been passed down through generations of Custodes, shaping their culture and inspiring them to ever greater heights of loyalty and devotion to the Emperor.
You're right. Individual stories are just as fascinating as their collective history, offering a glimpse into the hearts and minds of these extraordinary warriors, revealing the motivations and beliefs that drive them to dedicate their lives to the Emperor's service. Their names may be lost to the vastness of time, but their deeds live on whispered and hushed tones within the halls of the Imperial Palace, reminders of the sacrifices made to protect the Emperor and his dominion.
Let's start with the most famous Custodes of them all. Constantine Valdor, the legendary Captain General who led them during the Horus Heresy. He's the one whose name is whispered with reverence even 10,000 years after his disappearance, isn't he? What made him so special? What elevated him above even other Custodes, those already considered the pinnacle of human evolution?
Valdor was in many ways the epitome of the Adeptus Custodes. He was a warrior without equal, a strategist of unmatched brilliance, and a leader who inspired both awe and loyalty in those who served alongside him. He possessed an almost preternatural understanding of the Emperor's will, anticipating his desires and executing his plans with flawless precision.
It's almost as if he was an extension of the Emperor himself, a conduit for his will, able to translate his thoughts and desires into action. And his loyalty was absolute, wasn't it? He would have gladly given his life for the Emperor without a moment's hesitation.
His dedication to the Emperor was unwavering, a beacon of loyalty in a galaxy consumed by treachery and betrayal. But his skills in combat were equally impressive. He was said to be unmatched in single combat, able to defeat even the most skilled Astartes with ease. His mastery of the blade, a testament to his years of training and his unwavering focus.
I can see why his name is still spoken with such reverence even after all these years. He was the ideal Custodes, embodying all the qualities that make them such formidable warriors and protectors. But his story is tinged with tragedy, isn't it? We know that he disappeared after the Horus Heresy, his fate a mystery lost to time. What are the prevailing theories? How did a warrior of such renown simply vanish from the annals of Imperial history?
His disappearance remains one of the great unsolved mysteries of the Imperium. Some believe he fell in battle against some unknown foe. His body never recovered his sacrifice, a testament to his unwavering dedication to the Emperor, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Others believe he went into self-imposed exile, unable to bear the burden of the Custodes' failure during the Horus Heresy, his shame so profound that he chose to disappear from the galaxy, his name erased from official records.
It's a shame we may never know the truth. But his legend lives on, inspiring generations of Custodes to strive for greatness, to emulate his skill, his loyalty, and his unwavering dedication to the Emperor's cause.
He became a symbol, a reminder that even in the face of defeat, the Adeptus Custodes remain the Emperor's most loyal servants, willing to sacrifice everything to protect him and his dominion.
We've talked about Constantine Valdor, but what about other notable Custodes? Who else stands out in their long and storied history, whose names are whispered in hushed tones, whose deeds inspire awe and wonder in the heart of those who hear their tales?
There's Ra Endymion, a tribune who fought in the Webway War, a conflict of unimaginable horrors that took place within the shadowy depths of the Webway itself, a realm of madness and nightmares where demons and warp entities battled for control of a network of pathways that spanned the galaxy.
The Webway War. That was a truly horrific conflict, wasn't it? A battle for the very soul of the Imperium, fought in a realm where reality itself was fluid and unpredictable. What was Endymion's role in this conflict? What made him stand out amongst the countless other Custodes who fought and died in that shadowy realm?
He led the Custodes' forces into the Webway, spearheading the Emperor's counterattack against the demonic hordes that threatened to engulf Terra and plunge the Imperium into chaos. He fought against unimaginable horrors, his courage and determination, a beacon of hope in a realm of eternal darkness, his every action a testament to the strength and resilience of the Adeptus Custodes.
It must have been a terrifying experience fighting in a realm where the laws of physics and reality itself were constantly shifting. What happened to him? Did he survive the war? Did he emerge from that shadowy realm to continue his service to the Emperor?
His fate, unfortunately, is unknown. Some say he was slain in battle, his body lost to the chaotic currents of the webway, his sacrifice a testament to the dangers of fighting in such a realm. Others believe he was lost within the webway itself, trapped in that labyrinthine dimension for all eternity, his mind slowly unraveling under the constant assault of demonic energies.
A tragic end for a hero to be lost in a realm of madness and nightmares, his fate uncertain, his name whispered with a mix of admiration and sorrow by those who remember his deeds. It makes you realize the sacrifices these custodes make, the dangers they face in service to the Emperor.
Their dedication is absolute. Their willingness to face any threat, to venture into the darkest corners of the galaxy in the Emperor's name, is a testament to their loyalty and their unwavering belief in his cause.
Are there any other notable custodes whose stories have survived the passage of time, whose deeds are still remembered and celebrated within the halls of the Imperial Palace?
There is one more I'd like to mention, a custodes whose story offers a unique perspective on the Emperor and the early days of the Imperium. His name is Diocletian Koros, a prefect who fought alongside the Emperor himself during the Great Crusade, witnessing firsthand the rise of the Imperium and the events that shaped the galaxy we know today.
Chorus wrote a book, didn't he? Something about his experiences with the Emperor. A first-hand account of the man who would become the God Emperor of humanity, a glimpse into his personality, his motivations, and his vision for the future.
He did. It's called The Master of Mankind, and it's considered one of the most accurate and insightful accounts of the Emperor's personality and motivations, offering a rare glimpse into the mind of the most powerful being in the galaxy, the man who united humanity under his banner and led it on a crusade to conquer the stars.
It must be an incredible read, a window into a bygone era, a chance to understand the Emperor not just as a god, but as a man, a leader, a visionary who sought to forge a new destiny for humanity.
Chorus was a keen observer and a skilled writer, able to capture not just the Emperor's brilliance and determination, but also his compassion and his unwavering belief in humanity's potential. He wrote about the Emperor's struggles, his doubts, his moments of vulnerability, revealing a side to the man that few have ever seen, a side that humanizes him and makes his story all the more compelling.
It's a shame he didn't write more, but what he left behind is a treasure trove of information, a testament to his intellect and his dedication to preserving the memory of the Emperor and the early days of the Imperium.
His work is a reminder that even the most powerful individuals are still human with their own hopes, fears, and dreams. And it underscores the importance of preserving history, of understanding the past, in order to navigate the future.
These stories, these individuals, they offer a fascinating glimpse into the Adeptus Custodes, don't they? They reveal that they're more than just warriors, more than just faceless protectors. They're individuals with their own stories, their own motivations, their own sacrifices, united by their unwavering loyalty to the Emperor and their belief in his vision for humanity.
They are the Emperor's angels of death, but they are also something more. They are guardians of history, keepers of secrets, and embodiments of humanity's potential for both good and evil. Their story is one of loyalty, sacrifice, and unwavering devotion, a testament to the power of belief and the enduring strength of the human spirit.
We've talked a lot about the Custodes themselves, their origins, their training, their weapons, and their organization. But what about their place within the Imperium? How do they fit into the larger structure of the Emperor's dominion? How do they interact with the other institutions that govern the galaxy, the sprawling bureaucracy that maintains the Emperor's rule over 1,000,000 worlds?
That's an interesting question, and it's one that highlights the unique position the Adeptus Custodes occupy within the Imperium. Unlike the Space Marines, who are organized into chapters and answer to their own chapter masters, or the Imperial Guard, who are beholden to the planetary governors and the Departmentum Unitorum, the Adeptus Custodes answer only to the Emperor himself. They are not part of the Adeptus Astartes, the Ecclesiarchy, or any other imperial organization. They exist outside the normal hierarchy of the Imperium, their authority stemming directly from the Emperor's will.
So they're like an independent force operating with their own set of rules and regulations, answerable to no one but the Emperor himself. That's an incredible amount of autonomy and power for a single organization to wield.
It is. They have their own chain of command, their own traditions, their own way of doing things, all shaped by millennia of service to the Emperor and their unique understanding of his desires. They are a law unto themselves, their actions guided by their unwavering loyalty to the Emperor and their interpretation of his will.
But what about their relationship with the High Lords of Terra? The High Lords are the rulers of the Imperium, the ones who govern in the Emperor's name. Surely they have some authority over the Custodes, don't they?
Their relationship with the High Lords is one of mutual respect, but ultimately the Custodes answer to the Emperor and no one else. They respect the authority of the High Lords, recognizing their role in maintaining the stability and order of the Imperium, but they are not bound by their decrees or their commands. Their primary duty is to the Emperor, and if they believe that an order from a High Lord goes against the Emperor's will, they have the authority to refuse to carry it out.
That's quite a bit of power. For a single organization to wield the ability to disregard the orders of the High Lords of Terra, the individuals who govern in the Emperor's name. It makes you wonder if there have ever been any conflicts between the Custodes and the High Lords, any power struggles or disagreements over the interpretation of the Emperor's will.
There have been instances throughout history where the Custodes have defied the orders of the High Lords, situations where they believed that the High Lords were acting against the Emperor's best interests or misinterpreting his desires. These situations are rare, of course, but they underscore the unique position the Custodes occupy within the Imperium and the potential for conflict inherent in their relationship with the High Lords.
It's a delicate balance, isn't it? The Custodes, the Emperor's most loyal servants, possessing the authority to defy the very individuals who govern in his name. It makes you wonder about the potential for abuse, the possibility that the Custodes could use their power to further their own agenda or undermine the authority of the High Lords.
It's a question that has been debated by scholars and inquisitors for centuries. If the Custodes are so powerful, so independent, could they ever pose a threat to the Imperium itself? Could they become a force for chaos rather than order their raider? Their loyalty twisted their power used for their own ends rather than the Emperor's.
It's a chilling thought, the possibility that the Emperor's most trusted protectors could become his greatest threat. Their unwavering loyalty turned against him, their power used to destabilize the very Imperium they are sworn to protect. But their loyalty to the Emperor is absolute, isn't it? They would never betray him, no matter the temptation, no matter the perceived provocation.
Their loyalty is the foundation of their existence, the core of their being. They are genetically engineered for loyalty, their minds fortified against corruption, their souls bound to the Emperor's will. It's difficult to imagine a scenario where they would betray him, where they would turn against the very being they were created to protect. But the Imperium is a place of intrigue and uncertainty, a realm where even the most steadfast loyalties can be tested, where the whispers of chaos can seep into the purest of hearts, and where the pursuit of power can corrupt even the most noble of souls.
So you're saying that while it's highly unlikely, it's not impossible that the Custodes could be corrupted, that their loyalty could be twisted, their power used for nefarious purposes. It's a sobering thought, a reminder that even in the Imperium, where faith and obedience are paramount, the potential for betrayal and corruption is always present. What would it take to corrupt a Custodes? They seem so resistant to outside influence, so immune to the temptations that plague other mortals.
Their minds are shielded from the whispers of chaos, their souls fortified against psychic intrusion. But they're still human, at least in some aspects. They are capable of doubt, of questioning, of experiencing emotions, however suppressed they may be. It would take something extraordinary to sway them from their loyalty to the Emperor, something that would shatter their faith in him. Something that would make them believe that he was no longer worthy of their protection, or that his vision for humanity was flawed.
It would have to be something that strikes at the very core of their being, something that undermines their faith in the Emperor and their belief in his vision for humanity. Perhaps a revelation about the Emperor's past, a discovery that his motives are not as pure as they seem, or that his methods are too brutal, too callous, too indifferent to the suffering of his subjects.
Or perhaps the emergence of a new threat, a force so powerful, so insidious, that it threatens to overwhelm the Imperium, to shatter the Emperor's dream of a united humanity. A threat that makes the Custodes question their ability to protect him, to fulfill their sacred duty. A threat that makes them wonder if their loyalty is misplaced, if their sacrifices are in vain.
It's incredible to think about the weight of responsibility they carry, the fate of the Imperium resting on their shoulders, their every action scrutinized and debated by those who fear their power and those who revere their unwavering loyalty. We've explored their history, their organization, their weapons, even delved into the stories of some of their most legendary warriors. But what about their culture? What are their beliefs, their values, the things that drive them beyond their duty to the Emperor, the things that make them more than just genetically engineered killing machines?
Their culture is a fascinating blend of discipline, stoicism, and unwavering devotion to the emperor. It's a culture shaped by millennia of service, by the weight of their responsibilities, and by the knowledge that they are the last line of defense against the horrors that threaten to consume the Imperium. Their most important value, perhaps the one that underpins their entire existence, is discipline. They believe in control and mastery over oneself, over one's emotions, over one's very being. It makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah,
They are the emperor's personal guard, the ones who stand between him and those who would seek to harm him. They can't afford to be swayed by passion, by impulse, by anything that might compromise their duty.
It's almost as if they have transcended their humanity, haven't they? Becoming something more than human, something closer to the emperor himself. Their emotions, their desires, their individuality, all subsumed by their duty, their purpose.
They have suppressed those aspects of themselves, yes, but not entirely eradicated them. Their humanity still flickers beneath the surface, a faint ember that reminds them of what they have sacrificed to serve the emperor. They are not machines, not mindless automatons, but rather individuals who have chosen to dedicate their lives to a higher purpose, a purpose that demands absolute obedience and unwavering loyalty.
It's a bit chilling when you think about it, isn't it? The sacrifices they've made, the things they've given up to become the emperor's angels of death. They have no families, no loved ones, no lives outside their service to the emperor. Their entire existence revolves around protecting him, upholding his will, ensuring the survival of his Imperium. But what about the Imperium itself? What about the billions of humans who live under the Emperor's rule? Do they care about them? Do they see them as anything more than pawns in the Emperor's grand game?
Their view of the Imperium is a complex one, shaped by their unique perspective and their understanding of the Emperor's will. They see the Imperium as a tool, a means to an end, a necessary instrument for achieving the Emperor's grand vision for humanity. They are not sentimental about it, not driven by altruism or compassion in the traditional sense. They recognize the flaws of humanity, its propensity for weakness, for corruption, for self-destruction.
But they still protect it, don't they?
Exactly.
They still stand guard. They still fight and die to preserve the Emperor's dominion.
They do. It's their duty. They see humanity as flawed, but ultimately worth preserving. At least that's how they interpret the Emperor's will.
So their loyalty to the Emperor extends to his creations, to the Imperium he has built, even if they don't necessarily value humanity for its own sake. It's a duty, not a passion, a responsibility they carry with the same stoicism and dedication that they bring to every aspect of their service. It's fascinating how their culture is so intertwined with their duty to the Emperor, how their beliefs and values are so closely aligned with his vision for humanity. It's almost as if they have no identity outside of their service, no sense of self that exists apart from their role as the Emperor's protectors.
They are defined by their role, yes, but they are not devoid of individuality. Their individual traits, their unique skills and perspectives are expressed within the confines of their duty, contributing to the overall effectiveness of the Adeptus Custodes as a whole. One custodes might excel in a particular weapon or fighting style. Another might possess a keen strategic mind, a deep understanding of history or politics that allows them to anticipate threats and advise the emperor accordingly.
But those individual traits, those sparks of personality, they are always subservient to their duty to the Emperor, aren't they? They are channeled, focused, directed towards the singular goal of protecting him and ensuring the survival of his Imperium.
That is the essence of their being the core of their culture.
Yeah.
They're the emperor's angels of death, and their loyalty is absolute, unwavering, a force that shapes every aspect of their lives, every thought, every action. It's both inspiring and a little bit sad, isn't it? To think of these individuals, these warriors who have given up so much to serve their emperor, who have sacrificed their very identities to become extensions of his will.
It is. It's a reminder that power comes at a price, that even the most noble of aspirations can lead to unforeseen consequences. The Adeptus Custodes are a force to be reckoned with, but they're also a reflection of our own humanity, our own capacity for both good and evil, our own willingness to sacrifice everything for a cause we believe in. They are a fascinating and complex organization. Their story, one of loyalty, sacrifice, and unwavering devotion, a story that continues to unfold in the grim darkness of the far future.